Greetings, Internet. I am Ken from the Computer Clan, and today, it's a special day because today, January 24th, 2017, is the 33rd birthday of the Macintosh, and I figured it would also be a good time to redo a video I did back in 2010 called My Computer Experience. This is me from 1997. You can't really see me, but there I am using an old Mac. I started using computers really early on in life, and boy has it benefited me now. So I wanted to share my experiences, my stories, and my history of computers with you guys. And near the end of the video, I'm going to ask you guys to share some of your own stories as well. So let's have a look. So we're going to start in 1996. Man, those are some old photos of me. I was using a Power Macintosh, or maybe it was a Performa. I'm not entirely sure. And here are some more pictures even. So if you look at the footage here, it's a little bit hard to tell which computer it is exactly, because there were two computers, I believe, that use this similar case design. In fact, I double-checked it with Mac Tracker, and sure enough, the Power Macintosh 6400 and the Performa 6400, 6410, and 6420 had identical cases, so it is very likely that my first computer was one of these two. I also recall using one of the old pizza box Macs, but I can't find any photos of that, so for all intents and purposes, my first computer was most likely a Power Mac 6400 or Performa 6410 or 20. And this was during the System 7 era. This is what the Macintosh OS looked like at the time. I would play a lot of games on the computer. I was able to use it quite well and self-teach myself stuff. And my family and myself stuck with the Mac for quite some time, but then we decided it was time to maybe try something new, and this is when we were introduced to the PC world with Windows Millennium Edition. So Windows Millennium Edition was quite new at the time we decided to try out a PC. So in 2000, we actually purchased a custom PC with Windows ME installed. There was a nearby computer company that made custom builds, and we thought this was the greatest frickin' thing ever. So we tried that out for a while. The only thing is, that didn't work out very well. Windows Millennium Edition was regarded as not one of the most stable versions of Windows ever released, and honestly, it crashed on us a ton. And me not being very proficient with computers at the time, I didn't really know what to do. And not only did the software have failures, but the hardware had failures as well. We had one of those IBM Desk Star, which we call Death Star hard drives. Yeah, that thing crashed after several years of use. But things got better. Software-wise, when we upgraded to XP, man, the system was fast, it was stable, it rarely had a problem, and it looked a lot more pretty and modern. And a lot of that was probably part of the fact that when we were using Millennium Edition, that was a 9X system. This was an NT-based system, so it was a lot more stable under the hood. And this was around 2006 when we made this upgrade. It was quite late. We also heard news about Vista, but we were told it probably wasn't worth the upgrade because this was also around the time Vista was having a lot of problems because it was a 5 or 6 year gap between the XP and Vista releases, so it was kind of a cluster fornicate when it came to wanting to upgrade to Vista with older XP hardware. It was also around this time we picked up another PC. It was kind of a hand-me-down from other family members. It was one of these gateway towers. I don't remember the exact model, but this was pretty cool. It came with a subwoofer system and everything, so it was pretty cool to hear all those low basses and stuff. It was a pretty decent machine. This eventually had hard drive failure, the screen died, and the subwoofer died, so just this PC hardware just did not want to last or work for us. It was pretty nuts. And that was circa 2006-2007. Around this time, that coincided with another problem I was having. I liked listening to music, and I would take a CD player with me. But I was sick of the CD player skipping, and that was actually, fun fact, the main reason I bought an iPod. And again, this was before I switched back to the Macintosh, so I really didn't even know the Macs existed. I thought I heard that Apple went bankrupt or something, and in the late 90s they almost really did. But then I heard about these iPods, so I was like, maybe I'll try out an iPod because I can't listen to music on my current CD player, it keeps skipping. So I spent my middle school savings on an iPod video. I was blown away that you could watch colored video on this thing and have music on it, and it never skipped. It was pretty friggin' incredible. And pretty soon after, they introduced the iPod Classic, and I was like, oh, bad timing with my purchase, so then I ended up getting one of those. So while I was at the Apple store, I was just blown away. I saw these giant screens and these very futuristic looking products. I was just sucked in. So then later, it was maybe around almost summer in 2007, our family switched back to the Mac with this 20-inch Intel-based iMac that I still have. It still works. It has never been brought into the shop once. It's still perfect. And with this computer, I started experimenting with a lot. I mean, the interface was easy to use. There were a lot of great built-in applications. I would just go down to the dock and click on stuff, experiment with iMovie. That's how I got into video editing. I would just click on these things that were right in front of me and explore and learn. And this was when Tiger was new-ish. It was about to be replaced with Leopard, and I remember being obsessed with Leopard because it looks so pretty. So it was around that time, and I think Leopard ended up coming out in October, I think. Heck if I remember. But yeah, this was around the Tiger to Leopard era, and it was just so nice having all the iLife applications there, and just everything was so easy to use, and I just really got into it, and I was able to really self-teach myself stuff. Starting with Tiger, going to Leopard, and then being sprung forward into the future, just me using this awesome all-in-one iMac. I mean, the all-in-one concept was amazing. I was so used to a PC, I was like, where's the tower? This just looks like the screen. Where's the tower for this thing? When I was taught that everything was built into one unit, I was like, whoa, mind blown. And I just ended up sticking with the Mac then. So then, in 2008, I went from that iMac to a 15-inch Core 2 Duo MacBook Pro. In fact, I believe this was the first 64-bit notebook Apple made because this was at the time Apple switched to the Core 2 Duo. The original MacBook Pro had just a Core Duo, which was a 32-bit processor. And this lasted me for quite a while. I continued my video editing and I continued teaching myself about computers and digital art. So then in 2009, I upgraded to the 13-inch mid-2009 MacBook Pro. And this was the MacBook Pro that had the NVIDIA 9400M, and boy was it plagued with software glitches. It took a while until the software update actually prevented the glitches from happening. Just from day one, there were graphical bugs. I just couldn't take it. I was able to manage to stick with it for like 2 years, but man, this was not a happy time with me and the Mac. But I still stuck with it because I was becoming loyal to it. Has anyone else had problems with these computers at the time they came out? Because boy, oh boy, just hardly anything was working with me. But things got better. Then in 2011, I bought a 15-inch MacBook Pro. This was the late 2011 model, and I eventually threw an SSD in it and threw more RAM in there and kind of decked it out. I got the matte display and all that, and this computer was so much faster than the last one. It really just started catapulting me in the future. And then 2 years later, right after it was introduced at the keynote, I bought the MacBook Pro with Retina display, late 2013 model, 15-inch. And that's actually what I'm using right now to make this video. I've stuck with it for 3 years up until this point. I honestly thought I would have something different by now, but the display is so high resolution, it's so portable, and it's so crazy fast. I even did that video where I showed a 3-minute HD video being rendered out in 20 seconds in Final Cut Pro. I mean, this computer's 3 years old and it's still that fast. I mean, I just never wanted to go away from it. I'm cool with it. I'm super content with what I have, and that's this system. And that's where I am now, doing all the video work I do, creating all the stuff that I make for YouTube and stuff that you guys watch every single day. I have made a lot of stuff on all these computers, but a lot of the work now is just being done on this notebook. And I've kept this notebook longer than any other notebook in my life. And I continue to make awesome creative things with it. And a lot of that stuff you guys can watch and enjoy. So that's my story of my history and experiences with computers. If you liked what I talked about here today, if you liked the video and you liked the story, feel free to leave a like down below and let me know how I did. But also, if you want to leave a comment down below and maybe share your own little stories about your history and your experiences with computers, feel free to share. I'm curious and I'm sure other people will want to read them as well. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for listening, happy birthday Macintosh, and I'll see you in the not too distant future.